Hello and welcome to episode 3 of my Football Manager 16 Tottenham Hotspur Let's Play. I'm Kev and I'm cautiously optimistic that we might be turning our season around. If we have a look at the last few games, I think you were last with me for the West Brom away game, which was about a month ago of game time now. That was a 3-3 draw in which we identified that we were just getting absolutely hammered by teams. We were very lucky to come away from this game with a draw. West Brom would rightly be able to feel robbed. And they created 27 chances. We only created 11. We had a little bit more possession, but all season long up to that point, we've just been keeping hold of the ball, but in non-threatening areas. And then every now and again, we give it away. The opposition get a shot, and it was really starting to cost us. So what I've done over the last 6 or 7 games while I've been playing offline is basically not completely abandon my FM15 tactic that I'd imported, but abandon quite a few elements of it. The tactic that I'd imported was very attacking, very fluid, lots of individual player instructions, lots of team instructions. It just didn't seem to be working in the new match engine, so we've kind of gone back to basics. We're still keeping with the 4-2-3-1 formation. I'll show you the formation that we're using. So we've still got the 4-2-3-1, but we've gone to a counter-attacking mentality with a structured team shape. We have a slightly more defensive version of it that's defensive and highly structured, but that we're only using for big games. So this is the counter-attacking version that we use normally. You'll see that the main changes, we've turned the fullbacks from complete wing-backs into just ordinary fullbacks. They're still on an attacking mentality, but just hopefully the fact that they're fullbacks rather than wing-backs is just going to mean they do provide a little bit more cover defensively, because we were finding that we were giving up a lot of crosses to opposition teams, and with crossing seeming so dangerous in FM16, it was very risky. Just inviting clubs to get in behind our fullbacks and whip crosses in. So hopefully that change is starting to nullify some of that threat a little bit. In central midfield, the big change we've made is we used to have a defend and a support mentality. We've just got 2 defend mentalities. The idea being, I just want these 2 players literally just to sit between the defence and the attacking midfield, and just break up play. The fullbacks still have the option to go past them, but I want the midfielders to be encouraged to come back out and cover for them when they do, as well as just hovering around in front of the back 4, breaking up play and giving the ball to the more attacking players further forward. Those attacking players are where we've had the biggest change to the system. And this used to be 2 inside forwards and an attacking playmaker. I've now changed it to 2 wingers and an attacking midfielder. The thinking behind that, again, it's the crossing in FM16. I want players whipping in crosses, so I've changed my inside forwards to wingers. They're now playing much wider, whipping crosses into Harry Kane. And then I've changed my advanced playmaker to an attacking midfielder to encourage him to get into the box and support Kane, almost as a sort of support striker, rather than hovering around outside the area looking to pick up loose balls and create play through balls as a playmaker would. So the whole change to the system is all about countering crosses at one end and trying to play to the strengths of the new match engine at the other end, which seems to be whipping in crosses. The only other change is we've changed the striker from a complete forward to a deep lying forward. The thinking there purely is that Kane seemed to be struggling a little bit as a complete forward, and I used the new auto assign roles button, and it said he was most suited to a deep lying forward. I may well switch him back at some point. I'm not really sure it's made much difference, but for now he's playing as a deep lying forward and seems to be doing okay. Team instruction wise, we've stripped a lot of these back. I think we had 17 team instructions on there before. I'm still getting my head around the new team instructions screens, but on the whole, this is what I'm working with at the moment. So I've got a structured system, but I'm inviting players to roam a little bit from their positions within the structure. It seems contradictory, but doesn't seem to be causing a massive problem just yet. We're still trying to prevent short goalkeeper distribution, so that's our wingers and our striker putting pressure on the goalkeeper to stop him just rolling it out to fullbacks and put pressure on the back 4. I want the team to be very expressive, and I want them to pass into space, play out of defence, and most importantly, hit these early crosses. As soon as we get into a wide position, I want the ball coming into the box for Harry Kane. so that he can go and score a goal for us. If we look at how that's been working out, the 6 games have been a series of tweaks to that system. So there's been some good matches and some bad matches in that time. And we played our first game in the Europa League. I think that's what it's called, isn't it, in the real world? We absolutely stuffed Rapid Vienna with what was a fairly strong team. Defensively, we were still basically down to bare bones because of the injuries that we've had. Loris was still injured as well. But pretty happy with that attacking performance, although it is disappointing to concede 2 goals in a game that you're dominating. We then lost to Newcastle at home, and I think this was the last game on the old tactic. As you can see, same as West Brom and Man United had done before. Although possession was fairly even, they created so many more chances than we did. And again, we were lucky to only use that by 1 goal. So I think that was the final straw for the old tactic. We switched things around, starting from the Ipswich match, where we actually switched to the counter-attacking system for this match. And the switch from attacking to counter-attacking and a few other tweaks going from fluid to structured. We're still fairly even for possession. We had a little bit more than they did, but that's to be expected. They're a division below us. But suddenly, we're the team creating all the chances. And it's bizarre that switch from attacking to counter has done that, but I'm certainly not going to complain. It seems to be working. And because we've then taken that system into 2 league games and 2 wins. Firstly, away to Crystal Palace, where it was fairly even. Lots of late goals in this match, but luckily 2 of the 3 went our way. And we kind of robbed them a little bit, but at least they're not completely dominating us. There was quite a lot of chances at both ends. We actually went to the full-on defensive version of it for the West Ham game. So this was highly structured, defensive. And again, it doesn't seem to be affecting the amount of possession or the amount of chances we're creating in response to the other team. And we looked fairly comfortable in that match. There was a few moments of panic when they equalised, but Harry Kane hit the winner a few minutes later. And we always looked fairly comfortable. We certainly weren't massively under pressure as we had been in most of the other matches throughout the season. And to restrict them to just 10 matches, especially when they've got a striker like Harry Kane, like Andy Carroll, who's going to really benefit from the new crossing abilities. I was pretty pleased with that result. Less said about this match, the better. We were home to Dinamo, but we were playing a backup team as much as we could. This was reserves. So 1-1. I'm not that bothered about Europe. And we'll see. Our real focus is in the league and trying to push for a Champions League spot. That'd be ideal. But let's get into today's match. We're at home to Swansea. If we hit the match preview button, as I say, we're off the back of those 2 straight wins. We're playing the counter-attacking version of the system. It goes against everything I stand for to be playing counter-attacking at home, but for whatever reason, it seems to be working at the moment. I'd like to bring back a more attacking mentality and some more fluidity to the structure as the season goes on. But at the moment, this system is working, so I want them to become really familiar with this system and start to then make little tweaks to it as the season goes on, and to try and get it more towards the style of play that I prefer. But this is the strongest team that we can put out today. We're closing in on a full strength back 4. We're still missing Jeromel, and obviously the other lad whose name I forget, who was out for the long-term injury. I've got unavailable players turned off, so I can't see him. But that's not bad as a defence for us. Oh, Eric Deer's missing as well. He got injured on international duty. In midfield, Witsel and Bentaleb playing in a defensive role to sit in front of the back 4. They're the 2 best players to do that we've got at the club, so I'm very happy with that. And then we seem to be rotating these 3 midfielders quite a lot. Ericsson has just got injured on international duty, so he has been playing in the attacking midfielder role. And then the wingers are rotating between these 2, and Son and Lamela. And I'm really just trying to find a good combination. Chadley seems to be really effective whichever wing I play him on. Mertens has got the ability to get in and score a goal as well as putting in the crosses. So I'm leaning towards this being my first choice wide players, but certainly no decisions long term have been made there yet. So Lamela and Son are still there on the bench, ready to come on, and they will likely come on as the game goes on. And then obviously, because he's still the only out-and-out striker at the club, it has to be Harry Kane up front, and we have a big problem if he gets injured. So let's get into the match. The bookies have us down as favourites. Swansea are playing with a a more defensive version of our system, basically. So just everyone moved back a little bit. So let's see how what are basically two quite defensive teams. See how they can. It's got bore draw written all over it, really. I'm just going to pause for a second. That was nothing match related, but I just had a massive coughing fit, so I thought it was probably best not to let you listen to that. So, hence the pausing. But look, let's get a goal here. You can see the fullbacks are still getting quite far forward because they're still on that attacking mentality. But Witsel and Bentaleb are sat there just hovering in front of the two defenders. So when teams do break on us, we don't find ourselves getting massively outnumbered like we were before. Oh, that was after all that, we were still caught out in the wide areas there. We need to. I'm still not entirely happy with this system. It still needs tweaking. That's the main reason I play with the 2D match engine rather than the 3D one, because I can actually see what's going on in the shape. I know most of the YouTubers play a similar system, probably for a similar reason, but it's really hard. As pretty as the 3D match engine is, it's really hard to see how your team are playing, and that is an excellent finish from Harry Kane. That's 9 goals already this season. He's not been massively consistent despite getting 9 goals, because 6 of those goals have come from 2 hat-tricks. But I'm not going to complain if he keeps banging in hat-tricks every 3 or 4 games. I can live with that. And this is just a really nice finish. Just blasted that through Fabianski. And that's less than 4 minutes on the clock. And remember, we're playing a counter-attacking system here. But we certainly don't look like we are. We're pushing forward again. I really like having the 2 midfielders just sitting back, waiting for the ball to pop free. It kind of puts a spanner in the works of any counter-attacks that the opposition could be looking to mount, and providing we can make sure our fullbacks push on far enough to act as the link between those defensive midfielders and the 3 more attacking midfielders, I feel like there is still the link up, and we're not left with a massive gap in the team. Because one of the big issues you always find with a 4-2-3-1 is you have that huge gap between the fullbacks and the wingers, because this gap here. But if the fullbacks are really playing about here, then you've got much less of a gap, providing these guys can fill in behind them and not let the opposition get in behind. Right, Ganso's injured. We need to bring on someone to play in the attacking midfielder role. Let's put Lamella on there then. Yeah, that's fine. He looks pretty comfortable playing there. As I've said on the last 2 videos, I don't know much about the Premier League. I'm a lower league man, but this Tottenham squad really looks like, I guess this is the formation they play in real life as well. They're really blessed with a lot of attacking midfielders and wingers. Just the 1 striker suggests they're obviously only playing with 1 up front, and fairly solid midfielders as well. So I assume this is the system they're playing in real life. It really does suit the squad, and it's pretty handy that this was also the system I'd been working in my final FM15 save as well. So although I've had to amend huge parts of that, there are a few ideas I'm able to carry over. Oh, and that was a clear-cut chance for Harry Kane. Yeah, it's just ticked over on the clear-cut chance ticker. That's the sort of thing you'd expect him to score, and that's what I'm saying again. Whipped crosses like that are just so effective in FM16. I wonder if that might be something that's a little bit overpowered and something that we're all going to start looking to exploit in our tactics, and it already is starting to feel like the sort of thing that Sports Interactive are going to look to try and close up in a subsequent patch, because they tend not to leave big gaping exploitative holes in the match engines for too long. But for the time being, definitely looking to maximise on getting the ball out wide and whipping it into Harry Kane. I'm also thinking if we can get another big strong centre forward at some point. It won't be in the January transfer window because we've got no money, but perhaps next summer. Oh, that's a lovely finish from Kyle Walker. Look how far forward our fullbacks are. I really do like having the fullbacks push on like that. It just gives us that extra bit of width, and Walker's just coming in. He started so deep there and just come round Mertens, and just there's no way to defend against that. They'd need to play with 2 fullbacks on either side. Really effective. Yeah, but my plan for next summer would probably be to buy another striker to play alongside Kane, and perhaps go to a more attacking system where we lose the advanced midfielder. the attacking midfielder, play with 2 proper centre forwards, and make that the only real tweak to the system, and just bombard them with crosses all day long. As I say, it's not the way I like to watch football in real life. I'd be pretty disappointed if Posh were doing that in real life, but I'm quite happy if it's getting me results in what's only going to be a fairly short-term save for me in the beta of FM16. I just want to try and win the league, and I imagine I'll get 2, maybe 3 seasons played before the full version of the game comes out and I start my long-term save. So needs must. Let's find a system that means we can win the league next season, because it's probably already gone this year. The start was too poor. So it's all about building for next year now and trying to find a system and a group of players that's going to allow us to do that. We're closing in on an hour on the clock. Possession is pretty much identical between the two teams. We've created the same amount of chances. We've just been more clinical. We've got a better striker, and that's all it's coming down to, really. Alex Witzel's starting to struggle a little bit, but having already made that one change early on, I don't want to make a second substitution quite this early. Give him another 5 or 6 minutes probably. But yeah, there you go, that would do. Let's get Witzel off. Who have we got to come on for him though? Ryan Mason, there you go. That's a fairly simple like-for-like change. We'll leave it there for now, because what we don't want to do is make all our substitutions and then get an injury and have to play the last 20 minutes with 10 men in a game that's been so even so far. That's just inviting Swansea back into the game. But who are we looking to bring off as we get towards the end? Have we got a defender on the bench? I don't know if we've got anyone else fit. Eric Deer's there. I'm not sure if he's fully fit, but I might bring him on for Wimmer in a minute, because he's now struggling for fitness a little bit. And the last thing we need is an exhausted centre back. That is again an example of how powerful crosses are in Football Manager 16, and we should not be letting him just get between our defenders like that. He's just between 2 men, completely unmarked. That's just sloppy defending, and I imagine that is the guy who I'm looking to bring off. It would have been nice to have some names above heads to know if that was Wimmer or Alex who was supposed to be defending. I guess as it was our right-sided centre-back, it was probably Alex actually. But either way, we are starting to get a little bit worried. Let's switch this to... I'm worried about switching to defensive at home, because it's just asking them to bombard us for the last 10 minutes. I think I will keep it on... I will keep it on counter actually, because I just want the option to be able to break back at them. Let's take Alex off. Bring Eric Deer on. Hopefully just for some fresh legs at the back there. I know he's not fully fit, but he's a lot fitter than everyone else who's played almost the whole game now. And yeah, we just need to try and hold on. I don't know if I'm going to regret leaving it on counter, but I don't want to sit defending for 10 minutes when my defence is certainly comfortably the weakest area of my squad, certainly while so many of them are still out injured, and even full strength defence because of the 2 players we sold in the summer. It's very weak. But there you go, that's a 3rd win on the bounce. That, no matter how much we made it look like hard work towards the end, is a good result. We're now up to 9th in the league. Only 9 games gone. We're going to make the Champions League. That's what's happening this season now. Champions League is going to happen. We just need to keep on as we are. And if you've enjoyed this video, I really would appreciate you hitting the like on there. I'd love to get these Football Manager 16 videos up around 20-25 likes each episode. Really does make them easier for people to find. Helps the channel to grow, which is what it's all about. If you are enjoying the FM16 save as well, make sure you enter the competition to win a copy of Football Manager 16. If you look down in my videos, there's full details of it on there, but it's only open to my subscribers, so you do need to subscribe to the channel, and then you can enter the competition. There's a little separate step you do after you subscribe as well, so make sure you watch that video. It explains everything. And get involved in the comments. Let me know if you've found crossing to be as overpowered as I have in Football Manager 16, because at the moment it seems to be the way to score. Thanks very much for watching.